Did you know that all Bitcoin wallets require a bit of management to keep your transactions cheap and private? Today, we will be discussing about what is a Bitcoin UTXO and why do they matter. So what is UTXO? UTXO stands for Unspent Transaction Output. Although this may sound technical, don't worry. UTXOs aren't really that complicated. Let's make a simple analogy for you to understand easier on how UTXOs work. In this case, we can go for two different approaches on how to store your cash: a bank account and a piggy bank. With a bank account, you deposit your cash into it, and it's immediately mixed with all the other cash from the bank's other customers. It makes no difference if you deposit a single $100 bill or five $20 bills. All that matters is that the total amount deposited is $100. And when you try to withdraw that money, they're not going to give you the exact same bills you deposited. On the other hand, when it comes to storing your cash in a piggy bank instead of a bank account, there's an important difference. If you put five $20 bills into your piggy bank, the 100 worth of contents remain in that specific form, five 20s. And if you take that $100 back out, you will of course still get that five 20s, not a $100 bill. Let's look at these different ways for you to store cash as they relate to Bitcoin. A bank account holds your cash for you, which is similar to an exchange holding your Bitcoin. It's all mixed together with everyone else's. The exchange simply notes how much Bitcoin they owe you. However, holding Bitcoin in your own wallet is more like holding cash in a piggy bank. There's a difference between depositing zero point 0.1 Bitcoin into your wallet in one transaction and depositing 0.01 Bitcoin into your wallet 10 times. Even though your wallet will show a total balance of 0.1 Bitcoin, each deposit remains a separate entity. And each of these entities are called a UTXO. Now, why do UTXOs matter? If lowering the cost of transaction fees down or maintaining privacy around your spending habits and wallet balances is important to you, you're going to need to learn on how to manage your very own UTXOs. For this example, I've sent some Bitcoin to different wallet address. I've labeled mine no KYC and exchange A and B for a reason that I'll explain why later. Now comes back to the question on why you want to manage your UTXOs. First, you must understand that every time you spend Bitcoin, you have to pay the network fee. Bitcoin has a limited transaction throughput, meaning that people have to compete to be in the next Bitcoin block by paying higher fees. If Bitcoin keeps growing and gain more users over time, we could expect fees to become more expensive in the future. It could be so high that makes small UTXOs become unspendable. And I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's say I want to send my 10K sats to another wallet. Whenever you want to send Bitcoin, you will need to pay a fee just like I've mentioned earlier. And mine is set to 1 sat per byte because this is on a test net. But if we take a look on the main network right now, people are paying around 10 sats per byte. So if this was a real Bitcoin transaction, I would have to pay around 10 sats per byte to do this transaction. And I'll just label it test, and just pick a new wallet address on the addresses section. And all that would cost me around 1,100 sats of fee. That means to spend this 10K UTXO, I'd have to pay a 12% fee in order to confirm this transaction. But let's say if the blockchain got really congested and the fees went up to 300 sats per byte. We could see that the fees are costing much more than the UTXO itself, making it no chance for me to transfer it. This means that if fees were to ever go this high, I will not be able to send this Bitcoin, which pretty much makes it useless. Also, that's a reason why you don't want to have a bunch of small UTXOs hanging around. Another reason why you don't want to have smaller UTXOs is because of its high cumulative fees. Let's assume that you only have small UTXOs. Therefore, you'll need to spend all these UTXOs in order for you to have more than 50,000 sats. Since Bitcoin is priced in sats per byte, you have to pay per space you take up on the blockchain. The more space you take, also the more fees you have to pay. Let's say we want to transfer 50,000 sats with a fee rate of 20 sats per byte. Then my fee would be 4,900 sats, which is 11% out of the entire balance. Now let's compare that to just 50,000 sats and 1 UTXO with the same fee rate. Now my fee is only 4.5% versus 11% earlier. So the point that I'm trying to make is that it would be better for you to have fewer inputs because the more inputs you have, the more space you'll take, and again, the more space you take, also, the more fees you have to pay. Now let's talk about how managing your UTXOs can maintain your privacy. For privacy reasons, we don't want to select all our UTXOs and consolidate them all together because that's just terrible for your privacy. The reason why this is bad for your privacy is because if your Bitcoin is sitting in one address, every time you spend that Bitcoin, the person who is receiving it can look on the blockchain and see your entire balance. We also want to avoid consolidating UTXOs from different sources. For example, if I have no KYC Bitcoin here and I have KYC Bitcoin from an exchange, I don't want to mix them together because then the exchange can see on-chain my account balance. So now that we've understand on the why, let me show you how to manage your UTXOs. The first thing you need to do is to get a new address that you'll be using to consolidate KYC transactions. I'll just label it as Consolidate KYC. And just select all the KYC UTXOs and click on Send Selected. Now I'm just going to paste my address that I just copied. And as you can see, we'll be converting 5 small UTXOs to a bigger UTXO. And since I'm on testnet, I'll just set the fee to 1 sat per byte. Then just click on Create Transaction. And Broadcast. Now, if we go back to the UTXO menu, you'll see that we only have 3 UTXO while before we had like 7 in total. Next, I'll be consolidating my no KYC Bitcoin, using the same way like how I consolidate the KYC UTXOs. Just get a separate address that you'll be using to consolidate your no KYC transactions. I'll just label it as Consolidate No KYC. And just select all the no KYC UTXOs and click on Send Selected. Now I'm just going to paste my address that I just copied just like how I did before. And you can just label it as Consolidate No KYC. Just create transaction and sign. And there you go. You've successfully consolidated both your no KYC and KYC UTXOs into 2 different UTXOs. And that is how to manage your UTXOs. If you do have questions, please do ask and I'll try my best to answer it. And also, if you do find this video helpful, liking and reposting would definitely help a lot. Thank you for watching.